Okay, here's a demo of our Stencil of the Month Club set, and this is just on the basic plan. So with the basic plan, which is the same principle that you'll use for the premium plan. And so in the basic set, you'll have 2 word stencils, you'll have 1 pattern stencil, and then you've got these which are masking stencils. Okay, so these actually correspond with the words that you'll see like this. So they're going to mask a space in the background of our words and see how they're in that same shape. So I'm just going to get a piece of paper to demonstrate on. We'll get 2 because there's probably a couple of different ways that you can do this. Let's start with our pattern design. Now for this one, this is what matches over here. I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. But what I want to do is make a space underneath my pattern before I put it on. So this is one way you can do it. We'll check out another possibility, I think, in a minute. So we'll just put that there. We're going to create some white space so we can put that over the top, but we want to put our pattern right down here. And then I'm going to stencil over the top of that. So of course we can tape that as well if we'd like to. Make sure that it's not going to go anywhere. I'm going to get some, let's just try a mustardy yellow colour. And so that masking stencil is underneath the patterned flowers. And we're just going to go over the pattern, and anywhere that the mask is will be a white space. I can actually see it through there, so I could just probably only go on the parts where I don't see the pattern. Although if I'm doing it on a white piece of paper, if I did it on a black piece of paper, I could probably see it a bit better to make it stand out. Yeah, there are little bits here where I can't see exactly where the words are, but that's okay. All will be revealed in a minute. So you can see where see through here, for example, it's through here it's plastic, so the stencil's actually not, the paint's not actually sticking to the plastic, it's just kind of going over the top of it. So there's a little spot there, there's a little spot here. But if you're in doubt, you can just go over the entire thing with your colour, and what we'll be left with is a nice white space that's going to put our words, and it'll create a nice border around the words too. So if you're a graphic designer and designing a sign, they often will have that space around the actual lettering, the font. Okay, almost finished. A little bit there, missed a spot. Okay, I think we've got everything. If you see any bits that are still white, it might be because it's just the plastic underneath. So I'll show you that. So remember, we've put our masking stencil for these words underneath the pattern. I'll just lift that off now, lift it off the paper. And so here's our pattern. Then we can lift our masking stencil off. You can see how the stencil went over the top of that, but there's these little bits in between. And now you'll see that our words will fit exactly where our masking was. So you can see the spaces in there. And then we can fill that in, and I probably wouldn't pick the same colour. I'll choose a different colour to do that with. So I still want to, just making sure I've got it lined up correctly so you can sort of see where that goes. And I'll just grab my tape again, tape that a little bit. And we'll grab a bit of black so that it stands out. Hold that down tight. I'm going to start with these, the larger letters, and work my way out. I'm kind of rushing this a little bit just so that you can get the idea. A bit more black. I think I've missed some little bits of, my black it wasn't enough paint on the brush probably, but you get the idea. You will get the idea when I lift this up and show you that. So this is with the basic plan Stencil of the Month Club set, and it will be the same principle that you'll use for the other one. So see how we masked the spacing for the letters to go in? And they fit right there in the pattern. So then we take off that and we can fit the pattern, and then it creates a little bit of space around the lettering so it doesn't, so that it stands out. Okay, let's have a go now. We've done that one with another piece of paper here. We'll do that same pattern again. Now I was trying to think of another way of doing this. You could put the pattern on top also. That's another idea. Let's just do that for now, and if there's any other ways, I will let you know. But that way I can't tape it down. So it probably is better underneath, because you can't really tape that down without, because you're trying to get it on the lettering areas. So let's just grab that mustardy colour again. Now we can see where it is though, see where that masking stencil is, and you can just work your way around the edges of it instead of putting the entire pattern, stenciling over every part of it. So we're just going around the edge of the masking stencil, but I've had to hold that down with my hand, whereas if it's underneath like we did in the first example, it's held down by the stencil itself. So you could see it just wriggled a little bit there. Last little bit, so we're just going around the edges of it, and we got all the little bits in between. And this will be the same principle for the larger stencil set, the premium plan. I believe it's April 23, stencil of the month. Oops. Okay. So we can see, and I had a little bit too much on my brush there, it's almost like a raised stencil. So now when I lay that down, I don't have the hairdryer here to go over that, but that's going to be a little bit sticking out. Grab my black brush, here it is. And so now that's where the pattern was with the masking stencil on top. Where was it? This one was on top, and you can see how that's going to fit exactly there. So make sure you've got it around the right way, because if you have it this way, your words are going to be wrong. So make sure it's the correct way before you put it down, because it needs to follow the pattern of your words. So I'm just going to lay this down carefully, because I don't want to smudge those little bits of pattern where I had put a little bit too much on my brush. Okay, oops, I'm going to move it. I may have smudged some edges a little bit. So the letters will fit nicely in there. I'm just kind of seeing through the mylar now, and I know I've put that on a little bit crooked, but I'm not sure that maybe it does go a bit more straight that way. Just trying to see where it fits best. I think I do have to shift it slightly at an angle. So that's where I'm going to put mine. Oh. sure it's in the right spot. I'm just going by the edges and making sure there's white space all around. And then do our black lettering. You can use any colours you want. And oh, I just thought of another way we could do this too. Maybe I'll have to show that on my live on Thursday. Okay, so there we go. We've just show you that. So there we can see the lettering's got that nice white space around it. And that's how they work. I'm just going to try one more thing. And now I've got nothing underneath it, nothing on top. I'm just going to do the entire pattern in this orange colour. I'll see if this idea works or not. I'm not sure that it will, but just might be something else we can try. Okay, so we've got the entire pattern on here, I think. So that's with this mustardy yellowy colour. Then what I thought was I could get, I'll do it with this one again. Oh no, let's do it with this, Then Sings My Soul. Now I'm going to, and you could extend this pattern to fill out the entire paper. Then you could just literally put the words on without the pattern. That's one way of doing it. So just without the spacing, you could still do that and make that nice and black, and that would stand out. But another idea I thought of was just doing a bit of shadowing around the outside, or you could go over it with this and do a different colour and create a different effect like that. Yeah, you could, I'm thinking of lots of different ways now. So you could do that, you could also do this and just create a sort of a bit of a shadow effect. But let's try doing this. I'm going to put that down exactly where I can I can see the other parts of that stencil, and maybe even try shifting it slightly so we get a bit of a shadow. And create that spacing with a different colour. Okay, so now I'm going to go with, let's see, I don't know, maybe blue. Let's try a navy blue colour. And this is actually going to be a completely different colour because I haven't dried out the stencil. It's going to change this orange, whatever orange times blue equals. What's yellow and blue? Green? So it'll probably turn out green. Now we've got the masking stencil underneath. And remember, I've shifted it slightly so it will be a bit of a shadow behind the stencil itself. I can't see where it's a bit tricky to see where the masking stencil is under there. The darker, more prominent colour is where the paper is, that's for sure, and the lighter colour is where the plastic is, because the paint doesn't stick to the plastic as much. So let's lift that off and see what's happened. We've created a fun additional colour there. And now I can take this masking stencil off. And we've got sort of a little space in there, and then I can add, what was it? Then Sings My Soul. We can add that, which is the same as these letters here on the masking. And then I'll do that in black. And hopefully that should stand out nicely too. On the black paint. Just holding this still for now, but yes, you can definitely tape it down. There we go. That one's probably a little bit busy with the dark and the dark, so you could probably just do some different colours with the blue there instead of the blue, use a lighter colour, so it's two pale colours in the background and then the black for the words, or a dark colour for the words. So, but you get the idea. Enjoy.